My name is Lovely. Welcome to the Art of Learning and Unlearning. Today, we're dividing into topics that hits close to home for many of us. The difference in educational expectations between Black Americans and immigrant families, especially those of us from the Caribbean. Whether you grew up in the US, Haiti, Nigeria, Jamaica, or anywhere else across the globe, chances are you noticed the education is not viewed the same across cultures. So let's talk about personal experience, cultural pressure, and how these mindsets shape our futures. The big three career paths. Growing up in a Haitian household, you don't choose your career, you are assigned one. Almost. You like almost assigned. And there are only three options. Say it with me if you know it. Doctor, a lawyer, or engineer. They're all that sounding. So anything in healthcare, nurses, doctors, anything in law, lawyers, judge, anything in engineering, so anything like that. These are suggestions, they are the gospel. And if you told a Caribbean parents you wanted to do anything else, you might as well have told them you plan to disappoint the entire family tree. And yes, that's including the ancestors. That is the look you will be getting. Okay? So fast forward. I later found out that this mindset isn't just Haitians. Growing up, I thought it was just a Haitian thing. Like we all got the same training from the same boot camp because all of our parents went to the same Haitian academy. This mindset isn't just for Haitians. It is common among many immigrant families. The idea is simple. Education is the ticket out of struggle. And those three career choices guarantee stability, status, and pride. But what starts as love and protection often becomes pressure. In many Caribbean homes, there's no room for a gap year, no space to find yourself, and definitely no switching majors to something like journalism, art, history, or archaeologist. Because the first thing they would say the moment you tell them that you want to study archaeologist is what? You want to study rock. We have rocks everywhere. You want to pay money to go study rock. It's not going to go well. A real quote from a Caribbean parent near you. So I remember I went to Haiti for the first time and I met a young lady that was also coming back from Haiti as well. And I was curious as to why she was there because she was by herself. It's not like she had family with her or anything. So I was just like, okay, she happened to sit next to me. So I was like, hey, you visiting, seeing family or anything like that? So I just started asking questions. She said, no, I came to pick up some rocks. I'm doing some research on the specific type of rocks. And they only have those specific rocks in Haiti. Now you could imagine. I was very perplexed. I was like, wow, you came all the way over here in this dangerous island to find rocks. And meanwhile, we were just rushed to the plane to get here before nightfall so that way we can avoid any type of riots or anything that's going to happen because there was only one flight in and out of Haiti to come back to the state. And they only fly that one day a week. So if you miss this flight, you wait until next week to catch the next flight. Okay. So I was like, okay. So then she started telling more about the rocks and why it's important and how she was doing research on it. And only Haiti had this specific rock that she needed to do this research. I thought that was very interesting. I have never heard or met anyone that went to school to get a degree to study rocks. Now, growing up in Haiti, I used to play with rocks. But as far as thinking that I love them so much that I was going to get a degree in studying them, that was not, no. No, my parents would have literally thought I was crazy. Like, wouldn't even be able to mention it at all. So I thought that was pretty interesting. So her and I, we ended up having a really cool conversation about these rocks, and I guess I learned a lot. I didn't know like Haiti was that valuable when it comes to certain things and certain rocks. And now a lot of things that I'm seeing happening with Haiti is starting to make sense now that I'm older. Now that I'm older and I pay more attention to these things. So I'm just like, oh wow, very interesting. Look into it. But fast, part two, a cultural contrast that I wanted to discuss as well. And I wanted to share this because I had a wonderful conversation with my friend Glenn. Now, Glenn is brilliant. He's the smartest person I've ever met. He is very intellectual. So, him and I met at the Citrus Club doing a Toastmaster class that I attended one day. And now, Glenn is fully Black American. Like, no mixture. That's just Black American, raised here in the States, raised in Atlanta. So, he's black, black. And let me tell you, his experience was completely different with education compared to mine. The food that he enjoyed, some of the places, events that he enjoyed, those were also different. And I love spending time with him because I felt like I was learning so much about the Black American culture. And for some reason, even though I grew up in this country, I had never realized how much I was not that engaged in the Black community as far as like their culture, their traditions, the things that they do. I grew up pretty much just keeping my same like Haitian tradition, and then like learning other little things here and there. And I guess when I got here too, I went to a predominantly Caucasian elementary. So most of the schools that I went to were not really, you know, like that black. And senior year I went to like Wakaiva and then Hungerford, and like once I got in high school. But I still feel like I was not that ingrained into the culture, like black culture. But so meeting Glenn was very interesting because I got to learn so much, and we got to share our how our upbringing was so different from each other and educational wise. The part that interested me the most is I was having a conversation with Glenn once, and he told me that college wasn't really pushed in his house, like in his household growing up. It wasn't a thing that people do. Like the people around him were not, going to college like that. Like it wasn't like pushed in his family for them to go to college. And I thought that was very interesting because I said, listen, since the day I was born, I already knew like there was nowhere else for me to go but to college. Like I already, just like the moment you pop out, you're like, yeah, go ahead. They put a cap and gown on you. You're going to graduate with one of the three degrees that they have already laid out for you. Like there's already a path and a plan, so you already set. So I thought that was very interesting. So I wasn't. He said I wasn't told. I wasn't told it was the only way. Honestly, I didn't even fully understand the doors that it could open by just going to college. And so I was like, wow, that's pretty interesting that you said that, because to me, I thought the only way I could open doors was by going to college. Like everything I've done as a kid, as a minor, was to get prepared to get ready to go to college, to be effective, more effective when I get in college. So hearing that was an eye opener for me. It made me realize how differently we're taught to see education, not just as a tool, but as a lifeline. For many of us, raised in immigrant households, college isn't a choice. It's the only option. It's it is our parents' dream to watch us graduate with degrees they seemed impossible for them growing up, but mostly for their kids. Now, part three, the roots of the difference. So I wanted to get to the roots. Like, what is the difference? Why do Black American not value education as much as other foreigners who were Black? So immigrant families often arrive in America with one goal: build a better life. Education becomes the foundation for that dream. It's how we pay back the sacrifices of those who came before us. It's how we proved we belong. And for many, it's the fastest way to escape poverty and political instability back home. In contrast, some American families, due to the historical traumas and the systemic barriers within the US, have a very different relationship with education. One shape one shaped by unequal access, underfunded schools in poor areas and underfunded areas, and generational discouragement. Now, that one I think it's really big. I think generational wise, it is not being pushed for the next generation to go to college. Compared to in the Caribbean household, every generation is like, they'll tell you, like, yeah, go to college, get something, get a major in something, or get a degree in something, get a certificate in something, but go to college and do something that's going to make you money. For them, success sometimes had to come from other routes. Compared to Caribbeans and immigrants, success is only coming from getting an education for their kids. They already doing the other routes that they do not want their kids to do, which is what I appreciated, because I don't want to do those other routes. I knew at a very early age, working with my dad, that this was a man's job, and I was not going to be doing this job, sir. I told him very early on, and he looked at me and he said, "Okay, do you know what you want to do?" I said, "Yes, I want to go to college and get a job where I can work in the AC and not be outside ever." And he said, "Oh, okay, I'm glad you know what you want to do." So I said, "Okay, cool. Can I go sit in the truck?" It's getting hot in here. Can I go sit inside with grandma? And that's how I got out of doing work, actually. That's how I got out of doing labor work. Every time I went to work with my dad, I would say, "Daddy, I already know what I want to do. This is not it." And he'll be like, "Okay." And it worked. So college wasn't always painted as guaranteed path to success, because for many of them, it wasn't. So I am trying to stay on task here because I do get a little sidetracked. But part 4, we can learn from each other. So what we can learn from each other is that both perspectives are valid. Like, I get it. Like, not everyone, college is not for everybody. Everyone is not made or created to go to college. But there's also trade school that everyone can attend. There's also other certificate programs that everyone can do. But what's powerful is when we learn from each other. Immigrant families can learn to loosen the grip a little, allow room for passion, creativity, and mental health. Black Americans can empower to reframe education as access, as leverage, as a tool for generational changes when it's the right fit. I would love to see more Black Americans get degrees and more Black Americans get degree seeking careers, instead of just going straight into the workforce and staying there for, like, the rest of their lives, or accumulating their other responsibilities that they have not yet planned for. So I would love to see that. I would love to see more of my brothers and sisters getting their degrees, getting a degree in a career that is going to make you money. Don't just go out there and just get any degree. Just find a degree that makes money and get that degree. Honestly, that's what I did. I went to the counselor. I said, "Excuse me, I have this amount of funds. I need to find a degree within this profession, like healthcare, that will make me enough money that when I graduate, I will be able to pay my bills, take care of myself, and also have enough money left over for a vacation." I told her those 3 things because I didn't have nothing else. That's all I had. And she said, "Okay, what are you interested in?" I said, "Anything in healthcare." So originally I wanted to do nursing, but there was a long waiting list. I was like, I don't have that type of time. So we went ahead and did respiratory. I loved respiratory. Listen, if you are out here, you do not know what you want to do, you're trying to figure out where to start with respiratory. Start with something in healthcare. Start with something that you somewhat enjoy or you could see yourself enjoying in the future. That makes money. So you can take care of yourself. Start there. Making money to take care of yourself. And then everything else will trickle. Then, if you need to, once you start getting your profession into more professions and seeing other professions that are out there, then you can venture out into those type of things. But you have to start somewhere. So that's what I did. I told her what I wanted and the type of life that I wanted to have. At the time, it was a very small life. I didn't have all of this. But I just wanted something to get me started, get me going, get my blood flowing. So once we got that little career thing down, and then so we narrowed it down to that. So I decided to do respiratory, visited my cousin who was a respiratory therapist, decided to shadow her and follow her to see if I even liked the profession before I started. But funny thing is, I had already signed up for the program. I was literally starting the next month, so I was hurrying up trying to see if I like this field. I was like, okay, my cousin look like she's living good, she's looking good. Okay, good enough for me. Let me start there. So hey, that's how I got into respiratory. I like taking care of people anyway. I'm always taking care of people. So to me, being in healthcare made sense. So to me, it didn't matter what I picked in healthcare as long as I got to take care of people, because that's what I've been doing my whole life since I was a little girl, is taking care of everybody. So to me, it was fitting. So I started there, and once I got started, then I evolved, and other things started falling into place. Originally, I started as a medical assistant, and I did that right out of high school with a technical program. So the moment I did that, that opened up so many doors and made me realize, okay, I might, want to do more things into healthcare. So I did medical assisting for like 10 years. During those 10 years, of course, I was going to school for, to finish up my AA degree so I can figure out what else I want to do. Then I transitioned into pre-med, and then I transitioned into respiratory, and I was like, I made a lot of steps, to get to where I'm at now. But I was constantly searching. I was constantly asking questions. I was constantly doing the research, doing the work, trying to figure out what the type of life that I want to live and the type of career that will also give me that life as well and pay for that life. So those are the little things that I would recommend that you do. So we need to move away from the pressure to pursue status and move towards encouraging purpose, alignment, and long term fulfillment. So don't just go into the profession just because it has a high status, because you will get burned out quick, especially if it's in healthcare. Don't become a doctor if you're not passionate about taking care of people, because people in healthcare that you're taking care of, they are very people like. That is the nicest way I will put it. Okay, they are very people like. So if you do not like people, that may not be the right profession for you, because all you see and do is take care of people every single day. All different type of people, different color, different background, different parent education levels, different upbringing, some with home training, some with no training, some with they are very people like. Okay, so you really gotta have a heart for people if you're going to do certain career fields. But hey, you and you know what you can handle. Just make sure it can provide you the life that you want to live in the future. Okay, for you, not for the next person, not to have the life that that person have, because we can both be in the same career and getting paid the same amount, and our lifestyle reflects that differently. So don't try to keep up with the Joneses. So in closing, so whether you grew up with education being optional or non-negotiable, here's what matters: We all deserve the right to choose, to dream, to explore, to change course, to rediscover, and to discover new paths. Let's stop boxing our children into career categories, and start asking them, what lights you up? Like, I wish somebody would ask me that. Honestly, I don't even think I would. I think I would have had an answer, because honestly, I would have still ended up probably in this field, because I do love taking care of people at an early age. I always said as a child that I wanted to do something in healthcare. Originally, I wanted to be a doctor, but once I saw the steps to getting there and the fact that I was paying for it out of pocket and doing it alone with no family, I was like, ooh, let me figure out some other things to do to make money in order to pay for my schooling, because I did not want to get into student loans. I did not want to go into debt for a degree, and I already knew that I did not want that life. So another question you can ask your children or family members that you're trying to help figure out what they want to do with their life is, what problem do you want to solve? Okay. Is the profession that you're going into, are you going into it because you want to help solve something? You want to help out in the world? You want to be productive? You want to feel like you're contributing to society? What problem do you want to solve? Because if you can answer that question, then you can kind of navigate what type of field that you need to go into that would fulfill you and fulfill the vision that God has for you, your purpose. Okay? And then the last question you can ask them is, how can we help you get there? If you don't have a support system, I personally did not have a support system, but I had God. I had God, Jesus Christ, the Holy Spirit. Listen, the Lord had my back. The Lord had your girl's back. Okay? So I would ask God all the time, like, Lord, help me. Help me figure out what career path that I want to go on. Help me figure out when I need to make this decision, when I need to switch, when I need to go from one career to another, when it's time to move on, when it's time to stay, and all of those things. That I would go to the Heavenly Father for a lot, because education wise, even though my parents were telling me to go to college, go to college, go to college, they didn't know anything about college to help me. So when I say I didn't have any support, it's not that my parents just, like abandoned me. No, they just didn't have the knowledge to help me with college. They knew nothing about college. All they knew is that they wanted me to be there, but they didn't plan for me to get there. There was no money saved for me to go to college. There was no money saved for me to get this doctor degree that they wanted me to get. So I had to figure out and do what was best for me financially on how I was going to get a degree that would pay for the lifestyle that I want to have, or to even maintain this adult lifestyle I now need to have. So it took a lot of talking to God. Okay? When people ask me, "Well, how do you know? How did you get the knowledge to do the things that you did and the steps that you took and all of those things?" Ask questions. You would be surprised how many people would be willing to help you when you ask questions to the right people. If your counselors are not helping, find someone else who already went to college. Find someone else who has a degree in the field that you want to get a degree in, and talk to them. Ask a few questions. I spoke to a lot of elderly people, and I got a lot of like nuggets from them as well, as far as like career, lifestyle, what it's really looking like in this adult life. So nothing like asking the older people that's already ahead of you. Like, I'm in my 30s, so I love talking to people who's 40 and 50, because I want to know like what it looks like over there. Hey, how is it over there? How, is everything still working, clicking? Did you become wiser? Zeus, stop barking. Sorry, y'all. My dog. There's nothing outside. I don't know why he's barking. Zeus, stop it. Okay, so to close out, since Zeus is getting a little feisty here, education is a powerful tool, but only when it is matched with purpose and passion. I recently discovered my newfound purpose and passion. It has made my journey to finishing school, especially nursing school, a lot more enjoyable. So I did decide to start the nursing program right after my mother died. Terrible idea, would not recommend it. That's another video. But I am finally done. I completed it. I did it. I did it. Okay, so I'm finally done. And now I'm just waiting to take my boards. So I figured in the meantime, in the waiting season, let me go ahead and start knocking some of these videos out. But I encourage you to do the same. Find your passion and your purpose. It will lead you to the right educational path for you. And remember, make sure it can also sustain your dream life as well. Let me know in the comments, what was education like in your household growing up? Did you have freedom, pressure, or a mix of both? I'd love to hear your story. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Until next time, keep growing, keep evolving, and remember, there's more than one path to success. I love you. Bye.